The simple toy that made them happy in a small town full of tall buildings, busy shops, and noisy streets. There lived two siblings named Ayaan and Mariam. They were bright and cheerful children, but lately, they had become restless. At school, their friends often showed off expensive toys, remote control cars, shiny dolls, and video games. Ayaan and Mariam, however, came from a humble home. Their father worked as a tailor, and their mother baked bread for neighbors. They could not afford fancy toys. "Why don't we have toys like everyone else?" Mariam sighed one afternoon as they watched children play in the park. Ayaan frowned. "I don't know. It feels unfair." Their mother overheard them and smiled gently. "Sometimes happiness doesn't come from what you want, but from what you make with your own hands." The wooden stick. The next morning, as Ayaan and Mariam wandered in the backyard, Ayaan picked up a smooth wooden stick lying near the fence. "Look at this," he said. "It could be a sword." He began swinging it in the air, pretending to fight imaginary dragons. Mariam laughed and grabbed the other end. No, it's a horse." She placed it between her legs and began galloping around the yard. Soon, the stick became many things: a magic wand, a fishing rod, a spear, and even a flagpole. Their laughter filled the air, louder than the noise of any electronic toy. The neighborhood kids. That evening, some children from the neighborhood came by. They carried their expensive toys but noticed Ayaan and Mariam running happily with the stick. "What are you two doing?" asked Ali, holding his new robot. "Playing with our toy," Mariam replied, proudly showing the stick. The children burst into laughter. "That's not a toy. That's just a piece of wood." But when they saw how much fun Ayaan and Mariam were having, laughing, running, and creating stories, they grew curious. "Can we try?" one girl asked. The stick becomes a game soon. All the children were playing together. The stick became the center of their game. They took turns pretending it was different things: a baton in a relay race, a broomstick for flying like wizards, a microphone for singing contests, a treasure map pointer. The park echoed with laughter and shouts of joy. For the first time, children who usually fought over toys were happily sharing one simple stick. The lesson in happiness days turned into weeks, and the magic stick became their favorite toy. Even when someone brought a new gadget, the children always returned to the stick because it brought them together. One afternoon, Ali's robot broke. He looked sad, but Ayaan handed him the stick and said, "Don't worry, this toy never breaks." Ali smiled, enjoying the game again. The children realized that happiness didn't come from shiny or expensive things, but from imagination, friendship, and laughter. The parents noticed. The parents who often sat on benches watching their children were surprised. Their kids, who once complained about toys, now spend hours outdoors playing with a stick. One mother said, "Maybe they didn't need all those expensive things after all." Another agreed, "Look how happy they are with something so simple." Ayaan and Mariam's parents felt proud. Their children had discovered a secret many adults forget. True joy is simple. The stick's legacy. By the end of the year, the stick was worn smooth from countless adventures. It had traveled through forests of imagination, crossed oceans of dreams, and battled dragons of play. When it finally broke in two, the children didn't cry. Instead, they laughed and said, "Now we have two toys." From that day forward, they continued to create new games with ordinary things: stones, boxers, ropes, and even old bottles. Wherever they went, happiness followed. Moral of the story: happiness doesn't come from expensive toys or fancy things. True joy comes from imagination, creativity, and sharing moments with others. Even the simplest things can bring the greatest happiness.